The Greek state, during the past few years, is making an important effort to digitalize itself and to enhance the services offered to the Greek citizens. So in the following panel, we will see how Greece is becoming a smart state, and we are really happy to have the Minister of Digital Governance, Mr. Dimitris Papastergiou, here. It's an honor. And he will be joined by Lilian Mitrou. Mr. Papastergiou is here. Thank you very much for coming. Please take your seats. So he will be joined by Lilian Mitrou, professor at the Department of Information and Communication Systems Engineering at the University of the Aegean. Also, he will be joined by Mr. Stefanos Kollias, the president of National Infrastructures for Research and Technology, and Ms. Cleo Sgouropoulou, a professor of Informatics and Computer Engineering. And this panel will be moderated by Mr. Alexandros Melidis, and he will be moderating this discussion on the steps taken by the Greek state for its digital transformation. So welcome, and the floor is yours. Well, welcome. Thank you very much for having us, and congratulations to Ioannina, the co-work community, for organizing this beautiful event. So this is a panel that we organized together with GRNET, and we are also very proud to have had a panel, to have organized a panel with gender equality. This is also important. So we will be talking about the way in which the Greek state is becoming a smart state. So in this panel, we have got the representation of 4 different institutions. I myself am the director of Open Technologies Alliance, and we collaborate with universities and education institutions across the Greek territory, working on openness for businesses and education institutions. We also have the honor to have the Minister of Digital Governance and Mr. Kollias, Ms. Mitrou and Ms. Sgouropoulou, that can offer to us the academic insight. So, smart state. Of course, many of us here are part of this great challenge that is posed by digitalization and digital transformation. But the challenge is to digitalize the red tape. But as we are moving on towards the idea of the creation of smart urban landscapes, so this is a new aspect, because the mantra of this new era is automatization, and we need to be very careful so as not to automize other things that we shouldn't, such as prejudice, injustice, and inequality, and social gap. So I would like to ask you a question. How many of you do you really feel certain that you can define of what a smart state is? Can you please raise your hands? That's why we've got the minister here, and he will take the floor soon enough. But this is a panel of specialists, and we are happy to have them, because the truth is that many of us feel kind of uncertain of what a smart state exactly is. So please, dear Minister, could you probably help us? You are coming from the field of local, regional governments, and how do you think that we can move from smart cities to a smart state? What does it mean to have a smart state? What are the milestones? Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so happy to be here in Ioannina and that I am given the opportunity to discuss something very interesting and which concerns us all. So let's first say what is considered to be a smart city. Because if you want to have a smart state, of course, you need the local authorities and the regional governments, and then you need to have multiple layers of intelligent systems in order to be able to create smart regions and a smart state. So a smart city is a city with reflexes that can interact with its citizens and manages to find quick solutions to their problems and contribute to their well-being and the high quality of living for everyone. I think that the same applies to a smart state. A smart state should be able to listen to the needs of its people, and it's all about being able to rethink and reorganize all the organizations. So, laying the foundation in order to be able to have all those systems interacting among themselves is a principle, but it's not the only one. Because if you digitalize anything that is going on in the public life in Greece, the only thing that you will be able to achieve is to have to move on from physical red tape to digital red tape. Last Wednesday, there was a bill which was proposed for the Digital Services Act, and the second part of it was passed, the second part of the bill. So it was the first time that we have talked about the end of certificates. Why did we have certificates until now? Birth certificates, for example, because this happened because in the 60s and the 50s and the 70s, there was no way to, for a newborn baby to prove its origins. But now we have systems. Now we have databases. So there's no actual need to prove yourself. You don't need any certificates like that anymore, because all of this data exists, and the institution that needs it can simply draw from the pool of information that they need. So what we tried to do within the realm of the ministries that work towards this goal, we have also passed the part of the draft that talks about the giving consent via mobile phone, because when an institution is asking for your personal information, you are sent a message and you have to click to give your consent for the sharing of your personal information. And I think that this is a really important step because things will be faster. The point is that when citizens see that they are not heard by the states, no solutions are found to their problems, they lose their trust. And that's what we need to do. We need to show that we really understand people and what their needs are, and to move towards this direction. Sorry, we need to make it clear, Mr. Kollias, please let us know what is the acronym of the organization. It is GRNET, actually, the English acronym, which stands for the National Infrastructures for Research and Technology in Greece. So, yeah, this common confusion, a common source of confusion for the people, because the acronym can be interpreted in various ways, but in English it's rather clear. So, Mr. Kollias, would you like to tell us which are probably the most critical technologies and infrastructures that can help this change of the Greek state into a smart state? Well, a smart state is the state that can effectively connect the physical world to cyberspace. In cyberspace, we have the gathering of information and data. We have algorithms running that produce information, and this information can be transferred to the physical world so as to facilitate the everyday lives of the citizens. So how can we support that? We can support that through the usage of the technologies that have already been applied, used to process data, and they can even probably anticipate or describe issues of security or health issues of the citizens. Our goal is not to create an automated society. We need to, what we're trying to do is to forecast things or to be able to foresee things before they happen. So I believe that this is the generic framework. So this is supported by infrastructure, of course, which in turn, it means that we need some data centers to support all of this processing of information, the computer systems that are required, and generally speaking, all of this infrastructure that is required to run all of those models. ChatGPT, for example, or large language models and other models that will be applied to all of those applications. But now this takes me to another point, because this ends up in a huge energy footprint, because the energy which is required for this connection between the physical and the digital world is something really important. And we are trying to create lighter algorithms at the moment that will probably modelize those brains so that the neurons use less energy. But of course, all of this also needs the participation of the citizens. And technology is helping us to make things more automatic, such as auto AI, so that citizens will not need to waste time and energy on such things. I think that this is probably the depiction of a series of technologies and infrastructure that are required in order to achieve all of those goals. But that's all for now. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Lilian, I would say that she is like the legal brain for all of those issues, because when any of us, of all those stakeholders, need some consulting concerning the security and the protection of all this data, we turn to Lilian. So, Lilian, in your opinion, what is the role of the legal framework and the regulations for the protection of privacy and of data and personal information? For example, what is happening with the right to protect yourself from disinformation? Well, first of all, let me thank you myself as well for having me in this beautiful panel. I would like to get started with the idea that creating a smart state is not our one and only goal. Our goal is to achieve, to create a smart, democratic, fair state. This means that whatever you want to offer and to monitor at the same time needs to be done while bearing in mind civil rights. First of all, this is to the benefit of all stakeholders, because in order for these systems to be accepted, and not only as a product, but to be really integrated in the citizens' everyday life, and in order for the citizens to be able to trust their online wallets and their online ID cards, and even voting online as well in the near future, first and foremost, there has to be a relationship of trust. So people need to trust that we don't have this phenomenon of, changing the physical red tape into a digital red tape, but also they need to feel confident that while all of these things were being designed, already when it comes to the designing of an information system, for example, so already from its very first steps, what you need to bear in mind is how energy is saved and how rights are protected, because only in this way will you be able to have the trust of the citizens. And we can see that people don't have the level of trust that we wish for. I can see that from my students. Students really doubt that it is secure and safe for them to cast a vote online. So we have to make sure that we design all of those systems in a way which is rightful and not only future-proof and protected rights, because they feel that they are taken seriously. Otherwise, they will not be interested in participating actively. In this way, citizens will be able to make the best possible use of all those tools and contribute in turn to the creation of a smart state, which will be mutually beneficial. Well, the Minister previously mentioned all of those important changes and the creation of digital centers. I remember that a few years ago, when I participated in a meeting in the ministry, and I saw some announcements that on a cupboard, it was a paper saying that it was the archive of digital transformation of the state. That was really funny. Yes. It's also, I also have another example of mine, similar one. The truth is that not many years have passed ever since, but things have changed. So I remember we had a general director back then, and she was really, she was so surprised when I talked to her that we can do things via email, and she was really shocked when she realized that things could be done, although the people that were managing the email account were on a different floor. So yes, only a few years have passed in the meantime, but things have changed radically. And the truth is that, yes, in the past we used to send an email to many of the services of the Greek state, but then we also had to make a phone call so as to make sure that the email was received. But yeah, of course, things have changed ever since. But if we want to really manage this digital transformation and to create a smart state, what do we need to do on an academic level? Well, now everything is taking place very quickly. So things have really changed, and this means that also citizens and we, as representatives of these institutions, we have to be able to catch up. So, at the moment, everyone is getting to know a new reality with all of these technologies, and this requires a new way of shaping your own personal life and the way that you interact with other people, you work with other people. Human relations are affected. The way that they communicate with public services is also different. New job descriptions have appeared, and job seekers need to be to adapt in order to be able to find the job that they're looking for. So all of these are very important issues that are of central focus in national and international policies. We have already the digital compass that talks about all of these skills that are required. So skills are a pillar themselves, and the Greek state since 2021 has introduced some very ambitious plans concerning the usage of those skills, and there is a continuous effort to introduce new standards and new tools that will help us understand what exactly those skills are. What are the skills that employees and people need to have in order to be able to cope? So we have the reference framework for the digital training of citizens, and this is the so-called Digicom, and it talks about the basic fields of capacities that need to be developed. Also, we have informatics literacy, because people have to be able to know how they can look for information, find information, process this information. Another very important pillar is communication and collaboration through the new media of communication. So these are skills that are also of vital importance, and being able to resolve problems and to apply critical thinking. And this is of high significance, because we need to be even more flexible nowadays concerning this. And finally, security issues that have to do with privacy protection, protection of personal information, and also the safety of those networks that we are using. So all of these issues are our axes of activity, and they need to be kept into account always. But the truth is that the goals of this digital decade are very ambitious ones, and every single state has its own indices. So we are asked that by the year 2030, 80% of adult population in Greece should be able to have all those skills, and this is really ambitious. We also need 20 million professionals that will exist in this field, in the resources provided by the university and its research, and to create an ecosystem with new computing infrastructure that would work in a complementary way to other services and disciplines, so as to have a local ecosystem together with local businesses, and be able to offer to all those people the opportunity to find the challenges that they are facing and come to us in a live workshop and help them create their own pilots. This is extremely important, because in this way we are able to matchmake the public sector and the people that we're working with startups and small and medium enterprises, and with the help of researchers and scientists, we created a smart hub that includes all the pillars of the Greek society and the Greek economy so as to achieve the acceleration that we need. We're really happy for that because through this we have also participated in the national nodes for digital governance of the ministry, and I feel that this innovation and this acceleration that is taking place in public sector has many different starting points and can expand to all aspects of life. Another idea would be the collaboration of the local civil society, because yesterday we talked about the need to create such hubs and such nodes of innovation in smaller areas on a local level to become an integral part of the local ecosystem. So that would probably need to be part of the next agenda of ours. I think that it is pretty clear that every single one of you has a different approach towards what a smart state means. To me, for example, the question is who is this smart state created by and for whom is it? So Lilian, do you really think that a smart state can be smart for everyone? And what is the regulatory framework that needs to be applied so as to be able to promote innovation and protect civil rights to the benefit of public interest? Well, first of all, every single time that we design a new service, we have to watch Daniel Blake by Ken Loach, that film talking about the story of a middle-aged man who's trying to find a job through a digital system, and he's finding really hard. He is actually offered certain job positions through this AI system that he is using, but it doesn't seem to be appropriate for him. So, yes, the truth is that on the one hand, you may say that you are able to achieve the literacy of 80% of adult population in digital skills, but in reality, does this really help? And also, if you want to redesign those services on a large scale, you need to intervene to many governance systems at the same time, because if you have managers and directors in high positions that do not realize what is really happening, you cannot find a solution. So this is a change that affects many different aspects. This might mean that you will be led to conflicts as well, you know, and it's not really pleasant, because only through conflict you can change hierarchies and job allocation, information dissemination. And a very critical point also is what you mentioned, Alexandros, of how will you actually be able to not create new inequalities, because the idea of creating a smart state is to create a state that can help citizens overcome their already existing problems. But we need to make sure that we do not create new problems. This is really significant to have a symmetry of information intergenerationally. So, another significant point is that we have to have multiple regulations that in the end, might even set an impediment to innovation. So this could probably shift the burden. So, in my opinion, a smart state needs to say that we don't want competitiveness in all of this. We need to be able to say that we can achieve this goal of high usage of digital services by protecting privacy, the privacy of citizens. Of course, it takes efforts. Of course, it takes training. It takes studies and estimations. Also, it might require that you change your mentality. And all of this is difficult. I can recognize that. And one more thing that is necessary and very helpful is to open a dialogue with other institutions as well. So let's get started from there. And it has to be the priority to seek and manage to have a symmetrical satisfaction of all the needs and the achieving of all the goals at the same time. And these are the goals of a smart state in reality. Thank you, thank you, Lilian. Mr. Kollias, you are representing a GRNET SA, as mentioned before. So my question is, what should we expect from now on? Well, I will probably repeat myself, but it's important to keep that in mind. What we managed to do so far is to prioritize things, but we are still working on that. So, first of all, when it comes to infrastructure, we tried to work together with the ministry, and we managed to create some new systems that will help people achieve their goals and create new products, but they haven't got the resources to do so. In the meantime, we also tried to offer cloud services from big providers, but under our control, so as to create systems that are really useful for the society. For example, recently we helped them to create the first Greek LLM. And similarly, we worked with ELAC for goals like this. So we are producing systems that can support this developments. At the same time, we are also helping the existing infrastructure, and we are participating in this effort of the ministry to enhance digital skills of the Greek citizens. And this helped a lot to build on a strong partnership with the ministry. So since there is willpower on the part of the ministry, we will be able to do so. But of course, all of this will be done taking into account and with great respect to what Lilian mentioned before. Dear Minister, I think that probably we have managed to help the people participating in these events, how important it is to have this digital transformation leap in order to create smart states. And we need infrastructure, we need new technologies, we need these new regulatory framework that will have the human factor in its epicenter. So what can we expect from now on the part of the ministry? Can you talk to us about the initiatives? First of all of these things that were mentioned in this discussion were very interesting to me, because the truth is that GRNet really aided us greatly. Probably you have already seen this new digital assistant, MyGov, which has been on since a few months now and is receiving thousands of requests every day. Now our goal is to create a digital assistant that will be able to do things for us. For example, to ask for a certificate and to have it sent immediately. So this is really a constantly evolving process, and we're really passionate about it in the ministry and in the GRNet in order to be able to offer new services. So action bots for the certificates that people need, or even to ask the digital assistant to fill an application form automatically and send it where it has to be sent. Another step is the designing of some applications. Last year we had that movements by certain people that were complaining about the usage of public space and the occupation of the beaches from private companies. So now this year, when someone visits a beach and if they feel that there are too many sunbeds, for example, and umbrellas, they can automatically enter the website and see what is legal and what is not, and where they could intervene probably. And also another goal of ours is to help citizens to have easy access to services offered by the state without having to go through this mundane process of downloading files again and again. So maybe one of the most interesting things, however, that we have been working on during the past few months is to see new space, and this is really impressive. It's a pity that we have not really realized how much Greek companies are contributing to that. And last year, we changed our working schedule rapidly because we had all those important incidents with the forest fires and the flash floods, and we realized that we have to invest in those new satellites that can offer quick information, and they can help us see what is happening and help us to carry. And the truth is that nowadays they have ended up trusting local authorities even more. So let's realize that now citizens really want to trust the state even more. And one more change that is about to take place soon enough is the digital identification process that will be taking place outside football stadiums, because police forces don't really have to be wasted every single Sunday outside football stadiums. So if there are people that want to attend a football match, for example, they can simply take their ticket and they will be automatically identified outside the football stadium. So we needed to create a digital way in order to do that, and we will still have one gate for those that find it hard to adapt to the digital change, maybe the older ones. So this is something which will now begin, and for a month or so we will maintain both ways, the traditional one and the digital one. And we have already started communicating our goal, and the truth is that we already have 220,000 registrations in this platform. And 110,000 people have downloaded wallets and they have registered in that. So those who really want to make use of those services are trying themselves as well. They are putting their own efforts. They will probably bump into certain obstacles, but we are here to help them. So all this digital world can only be digital, but at the same time, we still have those service centers for the citizens. And they will never vanish because we have to still be able to offer all of those services even to the people that are probably older or don't have access to information, and we cannot exclude them. We cannot step forward too fast if the society cannot keep up. Yes, this is extremely important. This is the social involvement aspect that we need to always bear in mind, because we want the involvement of the citizens, and we need to have this in mind. I think that we were rather punctual with our panel. Thank you so much for your most interesting contributions. I think that it is high time that we took a break now, right? So there is one question, I think.
Καλημέρα.
Good morning. I am Thomas Eutentius. I am the deputy mayor here in the municipality of Ioannina. I am responsible for the digital transformation. My question goes to the minister. I know that you have worked in the local administration for many years. I want you to welcome you all to our town. So the question is, it's been a while since we started talking about the digitalization of the archives for urban designing in the municipalities. And when this project is completed, it will be really very helpful both for the services, the service providers, and the citizens. Do you probably know where we are finding ourselves at the moment concerning that? And the second part of the question, as you very well know, Ioannina is one of the 6 Greek towns that have been included in the in the network of carbon neutral towns in Europe. So apart from the green goals, we also have the goals of digitalization. So what is the perception of the ministry, and how will those very ambitious goals be achieved by 2030? So the digitalization of urban planning is really something very important. So at the moment, we're trying to digitalize so much data from many different aspects of life, and we also have some questionnaires. We're trying to help the development of certain areas in Greece. This is a project which is included in the recovery plan, which means that by the year 2026, summertime, we will have to have completed it. And At the moment, what is happening is that commissioners are visiting the areas in order to see what is required. Some areas are very difficult to deal with, others are not. And it is one of the most challenging projects that we have to deal with. Because imagine that by the end of this summer, we will have to already digitalize 30% of the totality of the files that we need to digitalize. I'm talking about a number of about 1.6 million files. I think that if we manage to make a good start, we will manage to do it, however. Concerning the other project that you mentioned and the inclusion of the town of Ioannina in the network of 100 carbon-neutral towns in Europe is a really ambitious project, but it helps a lot with the digitalization as well. Unfortunately, we are lagging behind in FTTH in the Greek towns because the providers that had undertaken did not act effectively. What I know is that municipalities at the moment need to help as much as possible in order to accelerate the processes because there was one case of one region that asked for the reconstruction of a huge part of the road network just for a small project. So these things cannot help with our project. We need to be very careful of how things are done, and municipalities need to aid towards that. And the ministry pledges to support the regional governments towards this goal. So there has to be close collaboration with the ministry at all stages so as to achieve all those goals, which are really ambitious, as you mentioned. Is there any other question, probably? Someone else? No, I guess that there aren't any other questions. Thank you all very much for this panel and for giving us an insight to the advancements concerning the creation of a smart state in Greece. Thank you very much. Thank you all for staying. Now we have a 30-minute break. Thank you all. See you in the following session.